I think today was a good reminder for all of us, not just that everything you put down in a text or an email lives forever, but that for all the salacious details in this trial, it is going to come down to what we're calling dry details, those signed checks, how mail got delivered to Donald Trump, the phone records. How does all of this set the stage for Michael Cohen?
Yeah, that's right, Chris. Look, Mr. Trump is not charged with having sex with Stormy Daniels, and it's largely irrelevant. I mean, it provides some of the context. But that's not the crime. The crime is the falsification of books and records. And so what a prosecutor would have to show is that the books and records were false, that they were intentionally false, and in this case, that Mr. Trump directed that. You know, think of it this way, Chris. In a bank robbery, the guy standing in the lobby of the bank with a gun and a mask and a bag of cash is the bank robber. It's not that hard. But if someone's charged with falsifying books and records, let's say someone's charged with filing a false tax return, the defendant would argue that there's a whole bunch of people between him and the false return. The bookkeeper did it, the accountant did it, the lawyer did it, the tax preparer did it. If the records are false, if my return is false, it's because all these other people failed me. They were freelancing. And so you need to directly connect Mr. Trump to the false records if you're going to prove your case to the jury by proof beyond a reasonable doubt. To your point, Chris, all the other salacious details are, well, salacious, but they don't prove the underlying crime. That's why Michael Cohen is critical.
There are things, obviously, though, Judge, that go to the heart of what did Donald Trump know and when did he know it, and putting all of that into context. So it was interesting today that the judge denied a request by the prosecution to show a clip of Donald Trump on Larry King back in 1999. And he was bragging about his knowledge of campaign finance law. This is what they wanted to play.
How about campaign finance reform?
I think nobody knows more about campaign finance than I do, because I'm the biggest contributor.
Why would the judge say no? You smiled when you heard him say that.
Well, first of all, you can look at the picture of Donald Trump. You see it's a long time ago. So the relevance is therefore going to be, attenuated at best. And he's bragging. That's what he does quite well. And it doesn't really mean anything. So judges, as a rule, with every decision that's before them, is they balance it. What is the probative value of the evidence versus the prejudicial effect? Here, there's certainly a prejudicial effect because the prosecutor wouldn't be asking for it if it wasn't prejudicial. It helps their case. But the probative value is so minimal that it just wasn't worth it. And it's so remote. Seems like that's a fair decision.
So do you think that that a jury would look at that and say, Donald Trump knew what was going on was wrong? He said it himself.
Maybe. I mean, again, it's so remote, and it gives the defense the argument to make the argument I'm making here. But at the end of the day, it is remote. It probably wouldn't have won the day.
Jill, you're smiling and laughing a little bit, or chuckling at least under your breath. What do you make of that and all of these kinds of decisions that a judge has to make? But maybe you'll say you can't blame either a prosecution or a defense for trying.
Well, I think the possible relevance of that clip was to show that Trump was familiar with campaign finance law, which goes to sort of, was there a crime in making this payment to Michael Cohen, which was alleged to be an unlawful campaign contribution? And did Trump know that that would be unlawful if Michael Cohen made that argument? So it had some minimal probative value. But as Jill said, it was so long ago. So it really, and he could have been bluffing. So it wasn't that probative at the end of the day. And if it's offered on the heels of the Stormy Daniels testimony yesterday, where so much came in, those salacious details about the sexual encounter that, in a sense, really didn't go to the heart of the criminal charges here, I think at that point the judge is particularly keen to make sure that he's not going to be admitting things that have a real risk of unfair prejudice when they don't have that much probative value.